Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Game 3, Team Turret Dive in the finals against the Thunderbirds. They're up 2-0 right now over the Thunderbirds, and we may be seeing a clean sweep or the makings of a comeback. Either way, we'll find out if we have a series after this game, but right now the draft is underway. I'm Pronogo. I'll be play-by-play for now. Decerux going back to his role as a color caster, just like game 1. We'll see if we can get an even split. Maybe we can get a 4-game series. Who knows what happens? Get some decent practice in both roles. But the bans are already coming out, and they kind of look reminiscent of the previous game, with the exception of the Echo coming out from Team Turret Dive. They don't want to see that on the field anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, Keckle, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that actually being banned out. I feel like JLC had most comfort on Rek'Sai. I don't think it's bannable. Maybe target Brando Calrissian instead.
I feel like Keckle and honestly, Keckle and Brando have been doing really well, the solo lanes for the Thunderbirds, but it is a bit rough to rest all of the hopes of their team on their shoulders. Gragas taken away. This is probably going to be Mickey Does Little pulling out that champion again, and he was super influential in game 1. So
yeah, and I mean, they keep doing this. You notice last time they banned the Gragas. It's because they didn't have first pick. When they don't ban the Gragas, it's to take it away from JLC. It's one of his effective jungle champs other than Rek'Sai, and it's probably his most played this season specifically. So they are pretty much just targeting to not let him ever get on that champion, and whenever it's up, it's gonna go in the hands of Team Turret Dive.
Well, the thing is, Mickey Does Little is just, he was a monster in game 1. He was sending Dudas online, the single damage source of his team, basically, in that fight, besides the Cho'Gath, which is much more situational. Definitely very difficult for Dudas online to stay alive and stay up in that game in the mid to late section. So now he's on Lucian, Dudas online, that is. Maybe has more self-peel, the dash is a lot more instant with Relentless Pursuit, so maybe we'll see something out of there. But it's last call, basically. Is there any hope left in the Thunderbirds? This is where they got to dig deep and try and mount their comeback here. Bottom lane first drafted on red side, so they're kind of saying to back from Earth, you can go back to the Varus. We didn't ban it out, and that looks like what's happening right now as well.
I mean, I don't see a reverse sweep happening. I don't see the Thunderbirds winning this. They've had early leads in pretty much both games, and they don't know how to work it into objectives, how to work it into towers, how to work it into dragons. And if they keep the same type of macro play that they've had in the last 2 games, that's pretty much it. That's a clean sweep. Team Turret Dive are gonna be the champions. But we're going to see if they can actually make adjustments to prevent that from happening and maybe give us an actual series.
We will have to see. I mean, they had their miracle run. This is sort of what we were talking about. You mentioned this at the top of the cast. And Thunderbirds put on a show in the playoffs of this Dragon series. They went through the gauntlet, basically, to get here. And I think it was an upset almost that they even managed to make it to the finals. And now we're seeing just how far ahead Team Turret Dive is as a holistic unit. This may have just been what we should have been expecting from the get-go. We will see at least locked in for Ariana Grande, trying to get a little bit more early game pressure, a little bit more damage dealing, put the carry pants on. Ivern was a bit of a flub, and the Rek'Sai was just not enough. Just in terms of presence in the middle of team fights, given all of the other things that were going on. But this is looking like a pretty mean comp from Team Turret Dive to answer, though. The Scion support is going to be locked in once again, but they have a Poppy, a Gragas, and a Scion. All that front line, and it looks like we're going to see another placeholder pick as well, as Tryndamere going to be locked in. But the Varus, that's a pretty nuts AD carry if it's the same sort of performance we saw from Back from Earth the last match.
Covering the Xayah, which is questionable. It's most likely not going to be that. They have their mid laner that they did save for the last pick. Once again, Tryndamere picked. We haven't found out what the Tryndamere is a placeholder for just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. What's going to round up this comp? Is Xayah a placeholder herself? Because obviously there's a Lucian already locked in here, so. Trynd equals Cassiopeia. That's interesting. A Cassiopeia mid lane for Schlid. And now we're going to go ahead and port ourselves back out of the game for the time being. Cassiopeia, that's a champion I have not seen in quite a while.
I feel a little bit strange about that one because Lid hasn't been the most consistent player. Kekkel has beat him in the early game pretty much every matchup so far. But somehow Schlid just pops off in the late game, and Cassiopeia does have a pretty strong late game, so maybe it works out, maybe it ends up being disaster.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a Zed versus Cassiopeia. If that's not a tilted matchup just in the champions, the last two games have shown us that it's a tilted matchup in the players. I don't know. That's pretty bonkers just by itself. The Zed versus Cassiopeia matchup. I mean, Zed's melee, but he's got the Living Shadow. He can extend his range a lot. His sphere of influence, his threat level, in terms of his threat radius, I guess, is definitely far exceeds the remit of Cassiopeia, what Cassiopeia can return. It's mostly like Cassiopeia is better as a... It's funny to say this, but it's like in the laning phase, Zed is the one who wants to take the shorter, pokier trades, whereas Cassiopeia would rather go all in. But then obviously once level 6 comes around, Zed becomes a lot more deadly in that sense. If Kekkel can get an early advantage, like a kill pre-6, that will set him up to be able to get another kill as soon as Deathmark is up, because then Cassiopeia won't be able to reply with the frozen stone ultimate. Slipping my mind the name, but obviously that's really easy to land on a Zed when you know he's right behind you.
So far, you're gonna speed right through this pick and ban process. Picks are locked in. There were some placeholders. So it should be fast enough, and we'll get into what could potentially be the final game. This is match point for Team Turret Dive.
Yeah, absolutely. We could very easily see, realistically see, a clean sweep of the Thunderbirds. It all comes down to the comfort. And I think Kekkel's aggression in the first two games have shown us, I think he'll be comfortable on Zed, especially versus the Cassiopeia.
But once again, that Scion always gives me a little bit of a laugh. It's such an unorthodox pick that's been working in this series so far. Yeah,
I thought he was going to run it the entire time, but, game one, not as useful as the Rakan for sure. It's almost like the Rakan was just picked to take it away from the Xayah in the previous match. So Dud Online and Arrow didn't have the same sort of synergy that obviously those two champions have very intrinsically. What was bizarre about that matchup, this bottom lane matchup, I feel like it is a bit of a mismatch. Dud Online and Arrow don't seem to be as synergized, as practiced together.
I totally see what you mean by that.
As Back from Earth and Talkling, especially the last game, it was so good. Talkling was just putting himself in front of the enemy, so that like in between the enemy and Back from Earth, and on that Varus, you need that kind of protection from your support, from your team in general, because you don't have any self-peel, unlike when you're on your Ezreal. So, I mean, On the Scion, it's a little bit more difficult to do that as effectively. You don't have nearly as much mobility, but I guess you can put your corpse between the team and your AD carry and then just beat the crap out of them. So we'll see what happens. That's what happened the first game. Talking going to be going for it this time.
Theoretically, Scion's the best tank because he gets to absorb damage twice in his lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to see if Tarkling uses that to its full potential. Team comps are finalized on screen, and it's going to be Cassiopeia versus Zed in the mid lane. This is the primary matchup we really have to focus on in the early game because we know Back from Earth can carry. If it gets to mid to late game, you know, he scales up on the Ezreal and on the Varus, and we know what his limits are, or maybe not his limits, but we know what his strengths are anyways. We know how he's played. So we also know Mickey Does Little is a really good Gragas. Ariana Grande has done well on Elise in the past, but hasn't played at this series yet. So really, this mid lane, I feel like, is the pressure point for this entire match and potentially this series if it's Team Turret Dive that comes away with an advantage.
I'm not sure because Schlid has exhaust and it's one of the strongest things you could take against an assassin like Zed. But one of the biggest factors for Team Turret Dive's success has been Back from Earth. He has been carrying this team, just putting the entire team on his back. Whenever they perform poorly, he's right there with still a great KDA, doing tons of damage, making the game work out. And that's not to undermine the other members. We have seen great plays come out of the Color C, as well as Mickey Does Little. But goodness, does Back from Earth shine. And I would weigh a lot of this game on him. I think he is pretty much the quarterback. He's the Tom Brady right here. You have to shut him down if you want to win this game.
Can they get through 3 tanky members and a Cassiopeia who's incredibly good at zone controlling? I mean, Varus has an ultimate for his own self-peel anyways, so there's a lot of things you have to get through. Zed, a good pick into it, because there's nothing really that interrupts the Zed unless it's like a well-placed Poppy or Cassiopeia ult. Even Varus using his ultimate won't stop the damage coming out from Zed's Shuriken and Slash on his E, so it's a lot to keep track of. Back from Earth is going to have a lot of threats coming at him between that and the Elise. And, something we haven't talked about, Galio can use Hero's Entrance on the Zed as he's death marking in. So if you want a lot of teamfight disruption, Thunderbirds have the tools to do it. It's just a matter of, I don't know how well equipped Team Turret Dive is to defend Back from Earth as effectively as they did last game. And he was a pretty big pinnacle of the damage they were doing last game too, so maybe they're putting more eggs into Schlid's basket, but like you said, he hasn't been super consistent. We'll see how it goes, though. We still have to see how all these variables interact with each other, and Kekel may very well be able to pop off in the early game.
It's very possible. If any lane's going to pop off early, it will be Kekel. He did it in game 1. Just dominated Schlid. Like, straight out, it was pretty brutal. And Kekel overall has looked pretty good in every game so far, despite losing. But it is a Zed, and Zed starts to lose effectiveness a bit unless you start doing the whole split push method and trying to force V1v1s, trying to find those assassinations. And it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. More specifically, as we said earlier, Back from Earth is the huge target. If they can get on him, if they can make big plays onto him, it really cripples Team Tower Dive. But I will have to give the advantage to Team Tower Dive overall. I do like the comp. It's a lot of riskiness coming into the Thunderbirds comp, and they've just played consistently so well, especially when from behind, because both games they've been behind and came back with authority. So I really do see this going so well for Team Tower Dive.
We're going to see just how well they can be. I still think that off the momentum of the first 2 games, it's more likely that they pull ahead with a sweep. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited to see this mid lane matchup as we've been hitting upon it over and over again. We're about to load it onto the Rift. Share your predictions on in the Twitch chat. Just give me a Mr. Destructoid if you think it's going to be Team Turret Dive. And what's this emote? Well, I don't think everybody has the Greek M emote, but we'll do what emote should the Thunderbirds have for their victory? People can vote via emote in Twitch chat.
Vote for an emote. I have no idea, to be honest.
Come on, you gotta give me something here. All right.
I'm trying. I'm looking.
Let's do Franker Z. Give me a Franker Z if you're in the Thunderbirds side of things. You can make it Franker Z for Thunderbirds and Mr. Destructoid for Team Turret Dive. There's not really much of a... Obviously, there's not really much of like a connection between those emotes and the teams. It's just Mr. Destructoid is my favorite Twitch emote, that's all. And that's who I'm doing, you know. I'm sorry, iVirtues. Haha is not an accepted vote. You're going to have to vote again.
So, for those of you just joining us, this is Ascension eSports Dragon League. Despite all the memes, this is an LCS-style tournament with a regular season and playoffs for players in bronze through silver. If you're interested in joining Ascension eSports, we have divisions for all elos, including Elder, which is gold through plat, and Phoenix for diamond and above. So please check out our Discord, check out our subreddit, and we hope to see you here soon.
I'm sure we'll see you very soon. Just like we'll see the Summoner's Rift very soon. We're just waiting on Ariana Grande's computer to finish making potatoes. Very soon, guys. Don't worry. It'll happen. Eventually. Hey, is he using a different... Was he always using Darkstar Varus? I didn't catch that in the loading screen the last time. I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was.
All these skins look the same to me now. I'm old-fashioned. I like it when I could read the game instead of not being able to read the game, but you know how it goes. Here we are. We're in.
Finally getting into the game. This is match point in favor of Team Tower Dive. Despite what the layout says, this is at 2-0. We're going to see who takes home Dragon League Finals and becomes Dragon League Season 3 champion.
Yeah, Ariana Grande rocking the trophy from Season 1, but odds are stacked against him getting a repeat. Two-time finalist does not equate to a two-time champion. Looks like we might have some new kings in Dragon League. Four-man stack in this bush. That's pretty,
yeah. They've pretty much done this every game so far.
Yeah. There's not really a lot of instant CC. It's mostly Arrow's Braum with the Winter's Bite there. Slowing people down, but it's a bit of a disjointed entry there. Just getting some information. They don't ward the buff, which is pretty crucial. So what will Thunderbirds do first? Look at this unit coming out from the turret dive. They might be taking this buff. Brando doesn't...
Oh, they are.
He's not even going to check.
Ticket.
He's not going to check it. He's just going to let him do it. Although I think it'll be pretty obvious when Schlid slithers out from Raptors what happened.
Yeah. Question is how they respond to it, though. Are they able to go in for that invade and try and equalize it out, or will there be a better response and actually counter that invade?
I don't know. Maybe Kekel just thinks he was late to lane for some other reason, like he was leashing the blue buff. Ariana Grande is actually going for Gromp right now, it looks like. So, no, this isn't going to be punished, I don't think, unless the Elise goes straight to the red buff. But they have a ward on it right now on blue side, so I don't think Ariana Grande is going to be going for it. Or even if they do, it's going to be spotted
Look at this pathing coming out of Mickey.
Whoa, what is he doing? He's already forcing the flash. This is what we talked about. Mickey does little. Has been very influential every single game. But Gragas especially seems to be very comfortable with it. That was a very creative... I don't know if that was planned. It seemed like it was reactionary based on how long it took them to initiate that invade. And now, he just walks top, gets a flash. I was already taken the red buff out of Elise, and now Elise is on Raptors, so that won't be answered or punished, really. Maybe a little slow because he went straight for a level 2 gank, but pretty solid stuff. I will say that I don't like the avoidance of refillable pot, though. That seems a little odd to me.
Man, Schlid's getting really punished in this mid lane. Keckle once again showing who the dominant mid laner is. It looks like he's going for a roam, too.
Yeah, he's getting some vision on the red buff that he figures is probably not up right now. Color C taking a lot of damage in the top lane, however. Brando Calrissian was able to get a solo kill on him in the last match. Picks up the shield. Well, Brando does not have flash to follow that over.
But look who's here.
Look who's here indeed. Ariana Grande. It is going to be the Cocoon hitting. First blood picked up in Game 3. Match point for their opponents. This is crucial that they get an early game advantage. Ariana Grande picking that first blood up, finding some much-needed momentum, I guess, in this game. He didn't see him participating in first bloods in the last 2 games, so.
Oh my goodness.
You're out of mana, Schlid. You can't keep doing that. Gets ignited, gets flashed on him.
He just hasn't learned his lesson.
Well, he didn't. He had exhaust up too. I don't think he realized that he had that, in fact. So that was definitely a misplay there. He felt like he could walk right into the shadow and didn't calculate how much mana he was going to be using there. So now both solo lanes suffering a loss on the side of Team Turret Dive. Could be what
equalize
Thunderbirds
it as Mickey.
Oh, that's a good flash. Keckle actually still saved his flash from that mid lane skirmish, and that's, I mean, at the very least, you stop him from being able to use that aggressively onto your vulnerable mid laner, but it would have been really nice to get a kill off of that.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Needed one more auto attack, but odds weren't in his favor this time.
On the other hand, I'm very surprised that a Lucian Braum lane, traditionally a very effective, very aggressive lane, is losing very heavily to Back from Earth and Talk lane, Varus and Scion. That's not what you would expect in terms of what would counter that kind of lane, you know?
You could see it happening, though. I mean, Braum, yeah, it's a strong lane if you can get, like, the stun passive on, and if you can rush that proc. But the thing about it is, Toklian has so much zone control by just lifting up that axe and threatening to swing it. And especially if the axe lands, oh goodness gracious, does it do punishment.
Yeah, that with the roar there, he throws out onto Dud is online every now and then, poking him back and keeping the wave pushed against the bottom lane here. Now Mickey does little standing on a ward. He's pretty low HP. Might actually get aggressed upon to stop his back. There's no control ward, so they can't really do anything about that.
This is going to be a very bad lane for Schlid. He's not doing well right now. I don't think he's going to do well in the future as well. Deathmark is up.
Yeah, it is, but Keckle could go on it. The exhaust is good. There's the Deathmark onto him. He's knocked back by the Color C. It doesn't look like anything's going to come of it. Teleport used by Brando Calrissian. Canceled afterwards, too. But in the meantime, we do have 3 members in the bottom lane. Arrow Cross has been dropped to about half HP. Stun is not going on to Toklian. Nobody's auto-attacking him. It was a really good disengage from him. In order to do that, he flashes forward with the Q. That is a very aggressive play coming out of him, and he does not get any summoners for his trouble. Might have been a little bit too enthusiastic there. That is not what you're going to get. You're not going to connect the
look at this collapse.
No, indeed. Zed's got no flash, no ignite, and no ultimate. So he only can really contribute to a fight if somebody is crowd controlled. Arrow Cross at half health has to be careful of how he does this, but Back from Earth forces the flash
as well as the heal.
Heal was, yeah, definitely not needed, but you can see how you might fat finger that or just sort of panic. You see a Zed coming at you. That's definitely some pressure gained by the Thunderbirds bottom lane.
Yeah,
you talked about it. You said that they needed an early game advantage, and they have it right now. 1,000 gold lead. A little bit more, actually. Cocoon connects onto Schlid. Ignite as well. Going to be making that a good kill despite the 2-man ultimate. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Color C getting dropped incredibly low. And Elise rotating over there. We might see a dive, actually. In fact, it's Elise. Of course you're going to see a dive. Color C.
Yeah,
I don't
one
think
of the masters of aggro juggle.
Yeah, indeed. Not even able to use the stun. Poppy could have maybe stunned the Elise up there, used the ultimate to knock him up, but got taunted by Brando. Wasn't expecting that, and that's not what you want to see. And we actually could see a tower take here. There's no teleport available for Poppy, so I think this is just going to be a tower taken in favor of the Thunderbirds here. The first tower is really important in this meta, obviously. 650 gold. Might be split between two members, but maybe they give it to the Zed if they really want him to... Well, get some local gold anyways. Yeah, they'll let him share it. But that's that is really heads-up play from Ariana Grande. Finally finding what they need with the first buy of the Moby boots to get around the map. No, nothing else. Just Mobies.
Yeah, and they've been in this situation before, but this time they're actually using it the right way. They get early advantages, they did nothing with it. This time, they got the early advantage, immediately got the first tower gold, and we're only 8 minutes into the game, so this is the play they need to do if they want to win, but they need to snowball it. They need to keep it moving.
They definitely do. They have vision on Mickey Does Little right now, which means they can make proactive plays throughout the map, and for the next couple of seconds, they can at least set them up, if nothing else. Nothing too crazy happening yet. Blue buff is up, so it looks like Ariana Grande wants to head back into the jungle and start that up. Zed, not really somebody who needs it, but definitely doesn't mind it, especially when he's already 2-0. Interestingly enough, though, Schlitt has even CS practically with the Zed. So, you know, a champion that does scale pretty well and obviously doesn't mind buying some tankier items like the Leandries and the Ryleys. Cassiopeia will be more than happy to sort of sit and go even in lane in terms of farm, even if she dies a couple times early.
Honestly, Schlitt really needs to rush that Hourglass. He has his tier now, and we've seen Kekel's not afraid to go in, and he's already struggling. He was struggling pre-6. He needs something to keep him alive.
I wouldn't mind seeing him sit on a Seekers or just full build the Hourglass. You really don't want to do that when you're on Cassiopeia, but at least getting the Seekers will allow you to continue scaling because it has that passive based on how many minions you farm. Oh, this could be good. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, but look at
there's
that.
The synergy. Oh my god, Brando Calrissian coming in to secure the kill, even though the death mark definitely would have gotten him. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, though, that's Eric Cross. He's going to be going down thanks to Mickey Does Little rotating down there with the explosive cast. Now a teleport coming down. It is going to be completed. The taunt is on to three members. Brando Calrissian is incredibly low, though. He's going to be forced to flash out. Ariana Grande looking for Mickey Does Little. He's actually going to repel out, but now Back from Earth is in danger with two members. Lucian dashing in, but he's out of the fight now. No flash, no heal. Whoa, Tarkleen, you're very low. Ooh, he takes it, but he gets knocked up. That might actually have spelled disaster for the Thunderbirds if they wanted to keep going. Now this is going to be poked back from Earth. Very low health bars on everybody that does damage for the Thunderbirds. This means a temporary advantage for Back from Earth as he can continue to push, but he doesn't have his team. This is pretty dangerous. I don't know if it was worth the 2 autos there. He might actually be getting killed here.
Can we just point out the balls on Brando? He went in on a teleport 4v1 and still managed to survive. Still, it wasn't the best exchange, but he didn't lose anything for it. What a man this guy is.
Uh-oh, Arrow, his scanner sweeping Back from Earth. That was a pretty good sidestep there. I was not expecting that one. Hey, speaking of, you know what? Actually, I don't even know where I was going to go with that. Not too much transitional material in my playbook just yet, but there's 3 Doran's rings on Brando Calrissian. You talked about him being a man. Well, he's also the Lord of the Rings right now, so...
Yup, once again, going with that build. And, oh my god, that build is so just cut and paste, but it works. And there's a reason why it's so cut and paste.
Yeah, you can pretty much do it on any AP scaling top laner, magic dealing damage top laner. Schlid should be using the ultimate, but uses it on the wrong spot. Uses the exhaust even. Why? You have no HP. It's not going to work out. Ariana Grande might be going down here. Actually goes down to the smite of Mickey Does Little. Doesn't get the slow from the barrel roll, but Kekel could be going down here. Color C and Tarkleen have also come along with. No flash to follow for Mickey Does Little, but Kekel will be forced to flash out defensively. Support from the Thunderbirds has made his way over here, but he's a Braum. He's not terribly useful unless he's peeling out. Here comes, actually, Talklean. He's going to be channeling the Q. He barely misses there. That was a pretty good heads-up play, but it just wasn't close enough. And they're going to be going for the Drake. They already used Talklean's ultimate, so they don't really have any great interruption tools, but Ariana Grande on the Elise is so far away. This should be a Drake secured by the Team Turret dive. Zed's been stunned up. That's a great 3-man knockback from the Gragas, but he has no mana to really secure anything further. Gets a kill onto the Braum with auto attacks, but he's so low. There's the Spider Bite coming out from Brando Calrissian, or rather from the Elise, from Ariana Grande, picking up a 3rd kill now with a second Spider Bite, and Sion not able to get anything back. Back from Earth, on the other hand. Oh, where is he? There's just one more auto attack is all you need, buddy. He's going to knock himself back out, and he uses the Hail of Arrows to take him down. Now it's all up to Schlid. See what he can do. He's going for Kekel, but there's Brando Calrissian's knock-up, and it does go on to Schlid, who's trying to get out, but the wings, are they enough? Not quite. He just needs one more.
Justice Punch!
He missed he didn't! He autoed the tank! He autoed the Golem! You can't auto the tank! Oh, Schlid. Rest in peace, sweet prince.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, it's not done yet. Color C, he wants this kill onto Kekel. A teleport for this. Not quite worth it, I don't think. Kekel's going to be able to just W his way out of there with the Living Shadow. That was a little questionable.
Over-ambitious, beyond ambitious. That was, yeah, more than just questionable. It was not the wisest of plays, and now they lose teleport advantage over that, and especially considering Brando's teleport is about to come back up. Whew. What a game so far for Team Turret Dive, as they are making mistakes left and right, but look at this.
Now that's a good using of the Keeper's Hammer. That's going to be a kill picked up. There's a little bit of over-aggression there, actually. They thought that Poppy was over-aggressing, but Poppy, you see, is a tank with 1,000,000 health. So you're not really going to be able to do too much to them as a jungle support duo, especially when she has itemized magic resist early on for the Galio lane. So, well, however, that won't protect her too well against the Zed. Living Shadow into the Shuriken is going to be more than enough to proc Thunderlords and deal some serious damage. Schlid actually going to be getting stunned up here, taken down below half HP. Well, stuns up the Zed actually, but Ariana Grande turns around and skitters out of harm's way with no mana to speak of. Schlid now trying to sustain off of the creeps as best that she can. And you know what? We talked about it. Oh, that was actually a really good stun out of Kekel, onto Kekel, out of the color C, but Cocoon
they
goes
couldn't
wide.
afford the follow-up.
No, there just wasn't enough damage to follow up with it. Poppy does a lot of damage at this stage in the game, though, just with base damage. So
I want to point out that Thunderbirds haven't really grown their lead since we saw them just get the first tower, since we saw them dominating early. They might be falling into the same pretty much issues that they've had last game, and once again Schlid almost gets caught out.
Is that going to be enough? No, there was no E. Well, speaking of which, though, Back from Earth is actually incredibly low. Duta's Online has been exhausted, but it's still enough. They have to be careful about how they deal with Talkling's corpse, though, because he's going to be going down here. Now he's going to try and go for Arrow, actually. He's just going to get stunned up by the passive. Oh, Arrow! Whoa! Summoner heal! Burned by Duta's Online. That was regrettable. In the meanwhile, though, Brando Calrissian and Kekel trying to do what they can onto this turret. Nikita's Little has his ultimate available if he needs to wave clear, but it looks like he's just going to go ahead and body slam onto the minions. However, 3 members in the bottom lane means a second turret going to be picked up. You said they needed to grow their lead. Well, they're doing it. Maybe not at the rate we expected. Maybe not at the rate they need to win this game, but they're certainly giving it their all right now. 13 kills to 6, 2 turrets to none, and that is going to be 28,000 gold. It's a 5k gold lead at 17 minutes, which is pretty damn respectable if you ask me.
Yeah, most definitely. They are looking to take advantage. They have all the towers. They're looking to get the first dragon on the map. This is the Thunderbirds we should have seen earlier.
Indeed. They're definitely a lot more confident than they were in the previous 2 games. Maybe they just needed a bit of a warm-up. Color C trying to distract some of the team, doing a pretty decent amount of chunk damage on Arrow and Kekel, but I don't think it's going to... Actually, it did stop the dragon because 2 members of Team Turret Dive were flanking from the bottom, and now Color C, he's got initiated right onto Arrow, who is dropped even lower now and has almost no mana and no ultimate to speak of either up right now. So Color C doing work along with the bottom lane, stopping the Mountain Drake take. And actually, they're going to be going for it right now. Team Turret Dive still able to salvage that despite being 5,000 gold down. That's insane. A flash ultimate coming out from Kekel. He's incredibly low right now, but Schlid will be taken down. It looks like Vibrando is exhausted, but it's not enough. The wings come out to kill him. Now, the Color C going to be going down here to the Ignite. Kekel on a rampage. Ariana Grande will be able to skitter her way out to safety. Look at his little actually may have gone the wrong way there. Walked into the enemy team and was forced to flash out, but was able to earlier secure the Mountain Drake using Explosive Cast. Brandon Calrissian not tanky enough to tank a million tower hits just yet. Talkling Taunted will be going down here most likely. Ariana Grande, no, not going to be able to do it. The culling is actually going to get him rooted. Brandon Calrissian now rooted as well. That could be a kill. Here we go, back from Earth, getting a shutdown kill. This could be the stuff of nightmares if you're on the Thunderbirds. Back from Earth actually flashing the wrong way just about. Does online though. Yeah, he's going to be able to pick up 3 kills for his team. Talkling picking up that kill away from his AD carry, but still nonetheless 2 and an assist. That's pretty damn good from Back from Earth, and Zed has no ultimate to stop this push. Actually, he's been initiated on by the Color C. He's forced to Yuma's up, but he's already chunked down so low, and Back from Earth can take this turret with the help of his team. Team Turret Dive are fighting back despite being 5,000 gold down right now.
Yeah, they are looking to make a comeback, and who is it going to be off? No other than Back from Earth. And this guy, once again, putting on the carry shoes, went to see his chiropractor. He's back, and he's ready to carry some more.
You don't say. That was a really well-placed ultimate from Back from Earth as well. The Chain of Corruption locking down Lucian mid-Relentless Pursuit as he was in the middle of casting the culling. And then it chained back onto Brando Calrissian despite the little charge stun he did. That was just beautiful. It was like a perfect storm. It could not have been intended necessarily because it's really hard to calculate all that. But well, speaking of intended, this is a 4v2 right now. Brando Calrissian trying to channel a taunt and a stun onto Back from Earth. He's not going to get out of that one. The bottom lane going down once again. Exhaust a little unnecessary there coming out from Arrow, but they'll take the 2 free kills based on that, and there was really no response from Team Turret Dive. They were caught with their pants down there, pushing with no turret to back them up.
Yeah, Back from Earth gets sent back to the fountain, and what a tough time for him, but that is what the Thunderbirds have to do. They need to shut down that guy specifically, and this isn't what the Team Turret Dive should do. No,
absolutely not. They do not need to be wasting their tankiest member right now. And a would-be dive there, or would-be protecting the turret. Now Mickey Does Little has no ultimate. Used it earlier. He's going to have to get out of dodge right now, if he even can. Taunted, and now he's going to stun up 3 members, but it's just not enough. Talkling feels pretty confident, but his Q misses. Now Dud is online. Is pretty... Oh, he's isolated right now, but here comes the hero's entrance to try and save his ally. Dud is online. Got chained by Back from Earth once again, but it will not be enough. They will deter the bottom lane push for now, so Team Turret Dive can hold on to that, but mid lane, you saw that Ariana Grande was actually able to stop Schlid from defending the turret, almost kill her, forcing out the Cassiopeia's flash and repelling away from a pretty impressive mechanical play coming out from him, and he's definitely found comfort where there was none previously.
Yeah, most definitely, and we do see that Schlid does have the Hourglass now, did rush it. It was the best choice to do, even though it's not the best item to rush on Cassiopeia. What can you do when Kekel's dominating this hard? 6, 0, and 7. Overall, the macro game hugely in favor of the Thunderbirds. They're looking so much better, and they might look to take this back and possibly make this a series. But don't be surprised if Team Tower Dive decides to make another comeback, as they had repeatedly, but it's only going to be harder and harder to do that as this game drags on.
This is bizarre. There might not be a large amount of trust with Schlid. Mickey Does Little is Tank Gragas, Cinderhulk Spirit Visage, and took the blue.
Yeah, there's no trust now. He's 0-6-0.
Yeah.
Can you really blame them?
Not necessarily, but he is even in CS, which is something that I did talk about before. Color C caught out here by Brando, but he's just going to waltz on out. The walk cycle of the new Galio is a little goofy, if I don't say so myself. He does seem like a very happy-go-lucky individual, just taking a Sunday stroll.
I mean, he's a hero. Come on. You gotta walk with pride if you're repping the type of reputation that Brando Calrissian's Galio has.
Indeed. Ariana Grande catching out Schlid on the ward. There's the stun coming out from the ultimate, but Schlid still had to flash and use ultimate in order to stay alive and will not be able to stop this tower. That's a free turret, basically, and a free flash.
He never uses his exhaust. I feel like he really didn't need to use the flash, but he does have exhaust up, never ever uses it. It's so questionable.
Well, the one time he did use it, it was when he was at 1 HP, so... Oh, here we go. Mickey does little flashing forward. Ariana Grande probably does have repel up, keep in mind. Hero's entrance coming out from Brando Calrissian to disrupt the fight. That's 2 knockups and then a taunt for 2 people. Ariana Grande's come back, but that might have been a little questionable. Back from Earth is going to help. Mickey does little, secure the kill. But Back from Earth now has to use heal to stay alive, and is he even going to be able to after the back of that fight? Oh, Brando Calrissian flashes forward, and he's going to be able to secure the kill with the wings, and he will go down as a result of a shutdown gold going over to Color C. Not who they necessarily needed for that. They probably wanted it to be funneled onto the Cassiopeia. Nonetheless, they are pings going on to the Baron right now. We're 24 minutes into the game, and Keckle's pushing in the bottom lane. Well, they have a 4-man unit on this Baron. Oh, actually, no, 3-man unit. Color C has teleport, but he's actually gone to the bottom lane. They're basically hoping that Arrow Cross doesn't do too much. Talkling getting a small shield off of the Courage of the Colossus there, stunning up Arrow, but trying to block the Winter's Bite from potentially stealing it. This shouldn't happen if it does.
Oh, goodness. Arrow's trying to do so much to prevent this from
happening. Wait, he's in the pit! Where's the smite? He doesn't have smite! There's no smite! Ariana Grande flashes over the wall to steal a kill and the Baron. And meanwhile, Brando Calrissian with a teleport, they just cleaned up 4 kills and the Baron. 3 kills, excuse me, in favor of the Thunderbirds. And we may just have a series on our hands. Can they push to end? Probably not. But can they push to get an inhibitor? Almost certainly.
Yeah, this is complete disaster for Team Turret Dive. They should have had that Baron. What happened to the smite? Didn't go out. Mickey does nothing with what could have been a great advantage to get them back into the game. Now the Color C's in a lot of trouble.
And he sure is. Soon he's going to be in no trouble at all. Whoa, he winds up knocking the Lucian out of the fight. And the Braum has already gone down. Back from Earth first to flash away. Keckle didn't really want to ult the Scion there, and he gets stunned up. Keckle's incredibly low right now. Schlid and Mickey Does Little might be trying to mount a bit of a teamfight comeback. There's a good flash heal coming out from Dud is online to avoid the explosive cast. Mickey Does Little still trying to pursue them and stop their backs as the minions are cleared away. Can he do anything with the advantage that with the inside track he's gotten on him? They have to rotate a longer path in order to do anything. Minions are pushing in the middle lane, but it's not going to be enough to take it a tower by itself. Now it's going to be up to Mickey Does Little to try and stop at something, but he misses his body slam over the wall a little bit embarrassingly, and the Baron-powered recalls are going to come out. There we go. They're back, and they're going to be ready to defend their base. Still Baron for a little while, so they might be going for something else, but 1 inhibitor already cracked and taken in favor of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, and that leads us to the 6K deficit that's really making it just harder and harder for Team Tower Dive. They really need to protect Back from Earth if they want to stay in this game. He is the key member of this, and even though he's not doing that hot this game, mostly because Thunderbirds have been doing a good job of making sure to focus him.
Oh, he's not doing that hot. He's got like a 65 CS lead. The reason why we say he's not doing that hot is because the last 2 games he was an absolute monster. Oh, no. Well, speaking of monster, Keckle, this is a quick, easy kill. He's godlike. You know, the Zed is that powerful. What can you really do against him? Here we go. The fight's already started, but there's no mid laner. And even if there was no mana on it. There we go. The fight has also been disengaged, but that's 2 crucial ultimates.
Oh, what a stun.
That is a really good stun, but Ariana Grande does have the repel. What is she going to use it on?
Caught.
He gets wound up getting stunned by the Scion. The Braum shield stopping the kill onto him from Back from Earth, but there's the root onto the Braum. They're going to be able to see if they can try and get anything, but the Scion stun was not prepped in time. Brando Calrissian is now able to throw the wings out there to stop anything from happening, and oof, that was very risky. A butt clench moment if I ever saw one out of Ariana Grande.
No kidding. Oh my. Oof, I can't even. I can't even fathom how he got out of that. He had single-digit health, most likely, walking out of that one.
Yeah, it was very low.
That should have been a kill. Oh my god, that's so discouraging.
It is, but Back from Earth still able to, along with the rest of his team, stop that push, despite the advantage of the 6k gold advantage. Oh, Schlid. Schlid almost got executed by minions. That would have
He can't even beat minions. That is pretty sad.
Yeah, super minions do give Cassiopeia a little bit of trouble when her first item is Zhonya's and her second item isn't done 28 minutes into the game. But
goodness.
It is a little bit of opportunity for her to continue farming up. However, despite having a whopping 12 CS on her opponent, you're looking at an 0-8 Cassiopeia versus a 707 Zed. There's a lot of gold in his pockets that are not in yours. We can kind of see that based on the fact that he's almost got 3 items worth of gold in his inventory compared to the 1.5. Is that a... What is Cassiopeia building? Is that a Morello? Are they going for a no tank
a Morello for some reason, and
well, he's going for a trip to the fountain is what it looks like.
Yeah, apparently this is a gray screen build. First time seeing it in competitive play.
No kidding. Well, there is a Zhonya's, so that button does exist. It's just not really being pressed very often. It's sort of like
Exhaust exists as well.
Yeah. Well, now there's a 5v4 in the middle lane. No real safe wave clear. Well, I guess the Varus can do the job just fine, but a lot of that comes from the Piercing Arrow, which Braum can block very easily with the Unbreakable. Now Mickey does little. Might have been doing an ill-advised move onto the Raptors. Clears away all the little ones and has this body slam up very shortly. All ultimates available for the entirety of both teams. Schlid just not in the area right now. Coming up back from base. 0-9 so far. Not doing so hot, like we mentioned.
Yeah, it is. It's been disaster since the first few minutes of this game when Kekko got him for first blood. It's not looking well. It's still not looking well.
Well, hey, he pressed Zhonya's! Maybe he'll press exhaust too. No, he pressed flash. Talking pressed R and walked right on past him. And we do have a pause in the middle of almost combat. I don't know if that's technically... I guess it's not technically combat, right? Because Kekko didn't technically get hit by the tower hit, so still legal to pause during that time. We'll see.
I just want to point out that Kekko has flash.
Oh. So what you're telling me is...
He wants it. He absolutely wants that.
Kekko's going to flash ult to kill Schlid, who will probably try and exhaust him. Well, probably not, actually, given the track record.
It's not even worth it at this point. If you want to target someone, it should be Back from Earth. At this point, Schlid is worth less than a minion.
Probably. Yeah, that one assist that they got at some random point during the fight is the only thing that sort of did anything with their...
I mean, this guy should have just played Karthus at this rate. What a fail flash.
Whew. Well, Karthus would at least be doing some more stuff, sort of like Scion. That's a good barrel on a Dud Online, but there's really no follow-up just yet, and my screen is freezing, which is a little unfortunate, but that's all right. We're still going. You're probably like 10 seconds ahead of me after that delay. Anyways, Mickey does little. He's going to do his best to wave clear, and no ultimate now, so minions are going to be crashing on in. Here comes Schlid, though, the savior of humanity. That's a good stun, but... Here comes Brando flashing and taunting. Mickey does little.
And he's gone again.
Yeah, Kekko Legendary making it 0-10 for the Cassiopeia, but there's some stuff going down on the backside. Talkling able to do some pretty good damage. Back from Earth has a Guardian Angel, which is not going to be popped.
He's shut down.
Gets shut down by like a straight tower hit or something. Brando Calrissian desperately trying to pop that GA, and guess what? He doesn't even succeed thanks to Summoner Heal. A double kill from Back from Earth, trying to keep his team back from the brink of defeat in this game, and he's doing it so far. 3 members to 3 members. It was a 2-for-2 trade. Yes, they got a turret, but as long as they keep getting closer and closer to even trades, the gold lead will start to stop mattering in about 5 or 6 minutes if they can keep farming. However, the death lead that Cassiopeia has accrued over the mid lane opponent is not quite as insurmountable, I think.
Okay, if the Thunderbirds win this, when Schlid goes back, out of this game to readjust his game plan, he should really get some time spent dead runes.
Wow.
Oh, 0 kills, only 1 assist. He's died 10 times. Don't play that Cassiopeia again without those time spent dead runes, because Kekel is putting a clinic on right now.
Well, we did talk about in Champ Select. That is a fun time against the Cassiopeia. But look at the CS right now. Varus is 280 CS. 70 over his lane opponent. 747 now in the score line. He's getting ready to pop off. It's just a matter of how long he can stay alive, and he bought the perfect item for it. He's at 4 items at 32 minutes. I mean, this guy packs a punch. He just needs his team to stand in front of him and the Zed, and he can do the rest, it seems. That seems to be the plan, but there's a lot of synergy, like we mentioned. The death mark into the hero's entrance is a pretty nasty initiation, plus everything that follows up afterwards, so...
Speaking of heroes, Arrow looking to save his ADC.
Yeah, he dodged in front of the fat man. That's pretty scary. If I was a guy just walking around shooting guns at minions and some fat man flew out of the jungle to try and kill me, I would definitely want a thick, muscular man with some ice, dressed as Santa Claus, actually, to fly in front of him. Defend me. But we do have another pause coming in. Not really quite sure what's going on with that, but we will figure it out.
Now, some issues on the jungler of the Thunderbirds is having some appears to be lag issues. His game keeps freezing, needing to close down a few things. Should be good very soon. But yeah, what a game so far. What a comeback to come out of Thunderbirds. They're playing this right, but they're having a hard time getting anything else out of this. The turtle that's been coming out from Team Turret Dive has been moderately effective, even though kills are going here and there. Back from Earth is still in this game. He's 747, 301 CS. He does a lot of damage. His Guardian Angel hasn't even popped yet. So this is still a very likely game to go either way. Given enough time, and Back from Earth could be popping off like he has in both of the previous games, which is something Kekel really needs to consider instead of constantly death marking Lid.
Well, the thing is,
isn't worth much gold at all.
Yeah, you're basically blowing your whole load over a member of the enemy team who's not doing anything. So you're doing stuff. You are powerful. So why would you sacrifice all of your power to kill somebody who is basically a non-factor in team fights? I mean, obviously, they do have the utility from the miasma, so the Cassiopeia can stop people from moving around as easily. But, I mean, zone control is great and all, but if you don't have any damage by yourself to back it up, it's pretty difficult. Here we go, Back from Earth, face-to-face with his enemy, and Kekel is going to be flashing and Wing and death marking, but he's already gone down. There we go. Kekel not able to reprise onto Back from Earth. We got another bit of a delay there because I don't know what's going on. My computer's melting, but that's all right because so is Talkley, and he's going to be going down there. Ariana Grande on a killing spree. We do have the Color C be able to knock down just Arrow Cross. Now Back from Earth with this Guardian Angel. Incredibly safe from this fight. On a rampage now, killing the Braum.
So safe.
That was a pretty good way to get out of there by Ariana Grande, and now they're sort of in disarray. The Turret Dive doesn't really know what the hell they want to do right now, but it looks like they will be backing away. Because they didn't get the jungler, maybe they don't feel too safe taking the Baron. Maybe they're going to go for the Mountain Drake instead. That will be their second of the game if they get it.
Yeah, but Mickey does little, needs to get the smite this time.
Well, he has it up.
That helps. Flashing over the wall.
He does have it up, which definitely helps.
He didn't even use it.
Well, he did. He used it at 10 HP, so it was. It would save him from a Spiderling attacking it. For the steal. Maybe not. Probably not, actually. Spiderling probably does more base damage.
So far, we're seeing it. The prophecy of Back from Earth. Looking to raise his team back from the grave and take the finals. And oh my goodness, Keckle getting caught out in that last little exchange. And that clutch chain of corruptions to lock him down. He died as he used Deathmark. It was pretty sad.
Well, the thing is, when you're a Fed Zed and the enemy immobile 80 carry walks up to you, what do you think is going to happen there? Everybody would be like, oh yeah, Zed's just going to kill him. Well, the Fed 80, or the 80 carry is also Fed, and he's got Guardian Angel, and a Gragas is right behind him that you can't see because of your ward placement, and your chain of corruption, and you're dead. So that's how that actually went, and that's definitely not how Keckle wanted it to go. So he's going to be looking to find a way to sort of maybe get back from Earth isolated, but it's just so damn hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, look at Togalian. He's been sticking on him like glue, making sure he stays up, stays healthy, and anyone who attacks is instantly just hits a cleave from the axe.
Absolutely. It also has to do with the fact that since Keckle did just get flashed, just used his flash to try to stay alive, of course not successful, that does mean that you will be seeing a bit of a change in how Keckle approaches these fights. He can't really set himself up for success nearly as well without that flash. He can't chase down targets, he can't ult in and then flash out to escape. So, both teleports available for the top laners, however. 36 minutes in, Baron is up. Baron dance was happening just a little bit ago. And right now, Brando's just sitting here in the way of Color C and this bottom lane outer turret.
Low mana bars for Color C. He might want to consider a recall very soon, because if a fight breaks out and he goes in with barely any mana, he's going to be completely useless to the fight. He's got to be careful about how he plays this.
Speaking of careful, there's a Baron take happening. It's being snuck, and there's nothing that the enemy team are going to be able to do about it. 5,000 HP. They don't think it's going to happen. Ariana Grande is actually incredibly low, though. Oh, there we go. Oh, red team has slain Baron Nashor indeed. I was going to say. They managed to stealth it. That was a pretty ballsy call from the Thunderbirds.
God. What in the world was that?
That was no wards. And that was actually Back from Earth had a sweeper up. Could have used it. They just didn't think about it.
I mean, no one really expects that. I gotta be honest. I wouldn't expect, that kind of play to come out.
Yeah. I think that was their thought process too, honestly. Well, the Cassiopeia has almost finished the third item at 38 minutes, so that's encouraging to see. Won't really be doing too much in the way of damage for a while, I don't think. Really going to be a while before she scales up, but we already saw. I mean, Back from Earth does way more than enough damage to compensate right now. He is full build until he sells his boots for a Phantom Dancer.
Oh, and a fight's starting to
break. Wait, well, yeah, Color C managed to catch some crowd control onto Brando.
Oh no, Schlid, please.
Oh no.
Not like this. Oh, please use your exhaust this time, Schlid.
Oh no. Well, we'll check.
He has exhaust. He's not using it.
He doesn't need it, man. He's a dead and gone mother. Well, I won't finish that sentence. However, Brando Calrissian had to flash out of there. He doesn't have a Guardian Angel. He's a very squishy tank right now, but Elise on the back end of that fight has just moved to the top side. In fact, I don't know. They have to win this fight very decidedly, and it looks like they're going to Back from Earth. Guardian Angel down on the Zed. He's already got 2 kills. He's looking for a third. Keckle's parting out, but Mikey Does Little is going to be able to silence him there, and if they're smart, they'll try and go for the Elise. It looks like the Mickey Does Little's Gragas is going to be going for it, but no, they turn away. And that's a little unfortunate that they could only get 3 kills for that, but all they do is trade Schlid. They didn't even trade the Guardian Angel for Varus. He still has it. So Back from Earth still has all the tools he needs to in order to have like any sort of success in these team fights and any sort of self-peel. You didn't really do a dent in that. Thunderbirds are still not really able to find a way to damage what is really important to the comp of Team Turret Dive.
This kind of bothers me a bit. Actually, they didn't really take advantage of what they had. They could have done a push in mid and start picking up towers, especially that mid inner is so low now. Look at that. It only has just sub 600 health on it. They need to get objectives, and especially if you want to get Schlid back in the game, who doesn't realize he has exhaust ever.
Well, it's a good thing Top Lane has exhaust as well. It's not up right now, but he can do it for him. Every now and then.
Every now and then.
It looks like a Dragon Call is coming out from the Thunderbirds jungler. This is an Elder, though, so this is a pretty long objective. However, if they snuck Baron, they can sneak Elder. Well, maybe not if they're standing on the Scuttle Crab. It leashes back just a little bit, hovering around 8,000 HP. It will wind up being letting be unleashed back, it looks like. Oh. That was an interesting Blast Cone decision. Now 8,000 health once again. Talkleen going to have to try and interrupt this. Yeah, it will. Well, Schlid, it's been 4v5 all game if we're honest. There we go. It leashes back. And the Elder Drake is now going to sit at around 6,000 health. There we go. Okay, it's leashed back for good now, I believe. As Mickey Does Little is just going to be taking away some wards. We'll probably be seeing some, I don't know what we're going to be looking at here pretty soon. Is it the Elder Drake that it will be the next objective? What is the late game approach to these fights for the Thunderbirds? So far, it's just been to add more death numbers to Schlid's score and then die at Back from Earth, so... If that keeps going, clearly the Turret Dive are going to be able to clean sweep this.
I mean, I guess I see the logic. You can't feed if you're not worth gold, so...
It's only a 3k gold difference, Decerux. There's actually almost no difference in the effective amount of gold between these two teams. Like, the effective power gold. Like, there actually is none. Schlid has been just distracting Kekel. This is, like, next level intentional feeding. That is actually going to win them the game. Schlid is going to get MVP for this entire series just based off of this performance.
What in the world, Schlid? Oh no, JLC's caught out.
Oh boy. Can I get a baby rage for Ariana Grande? Or maybe I need one for Schlid. He actually lands the ultimate there. Wait, he lived! He actually lived! That's crazy! And so did Ariana Grande. What in the world?
What in the world is going on?
Schlid lived. Ariana Grande lived. These are two players that have been dying all series. Obviously, Schlid a little bit taking the cake here, but... You know, it was opposite day for 1 minute on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, it really was.
That minute was 43 in this game 3. Elder Drake up still. 40 seconds on Baron. Kekel stealing away the blue buff at about half HP. No lifesteal to really speak of. I guess he has the Cutlass, but it really isn't enough. Walking over wards. Oh, Ariana Grande, I think, saw it. There we go. At least taking care of that.
What is this game? The gold lead is about to mean nothing right now. We're hitting the point where 5 items are going to start popping up around the board, except for Schlid, unfortunately.
He's getting his 4th almost. You know?
But oh my goodness, what a game. Team Turret Dive don't want to die.
They definitely don't. They aren't making it easy. And I guess the idea was Thunderbirds were like, well, if we sneak Baron, we should just win. Right? Like, it's like killing the Nexus. Well, they found out it wasn't. Some wards getting placed down, or not. Nope, never mind. No wards getting placed down.
Both of the major objectives are up.
They are. Elisa's actually on the Elder Drake right now in that area. Might be doing Scuttle Crab. Can't really tell. No, she started the Elder Drake almost certainly. Rest of her team headed down there right now, but so is the jungler for
Kinda ballsy.
Team Turret Dive. This is a very ballsy start, especially when the team is sort of split. Kekel's a pretty big part of the damage, and Back from Earth is challenging him 1v1 right now. Well, looks like they stopped the take on the Drake. They're going to be able to stop the push on mid as well. Priority's not really for anybody right now, despite the minuscule gold lead and the obvious disparity between the two mid laners.
What a game this is turning out to be. So tense in this standoff. It's going to break any second, though, because tensions are high, and at 45 minutes, death timers are high as well.
Yeah,
Mickey
it's really
looking to get onto him.
Oh, yeah, Ariana Grande has an escape. Will they be initiating onto him? Yes, they will, in fact. Hawkman's going to try and stun him up. He knocks himself back into the rest of the team. Hero's entrance means the rest of them. But yeah, there's the chain of corruption, and it's rooted so many members. Brandon Calrissian, remember, no GAs on these tanks anymore. However, they are just going to get knocked back. And their Dud is online, gonna have to flash and heal his way out of that one. The Color C stunned up and killed. Back from Earth exhausted. Schlid, a 3-man stun, popping off in the late game as per usual, it seems. Arrow dropped incredibly low. Guardian Angel back on the Zed and on the Lucian as well. No members die on the side of the Thunderbirds. One member on the side of Team Turret Dive, but they will take the turret, true to their namesake.
They could go after Baron.
They could go after Baron.
They're going to take the top tower.
Yeah, that seems like the more likely situation. They're not really ready to risk it after the Baron steal that happened earlier.
Oh, with all those low health bars, it was very likely they could take that in a good amount of time.
Yeah, they had double mountain. I think it probably would have been the better call, but... Uh-oh. Oh, it barely missed.
Oh, you gotta love it when that happens.
You sure do. They might actually make the call to start this pretty soon, however. There's no vision on it. Oh, there is actually. Never mind. There's that far side trinket. There might...
Oh,
yep,
they're
going to start it. And the pings are coming out as well. Schlid heading down in the wrong direction. I don't think they can get there in time. This Baron goes down incredibly fast. Okay.
Mickey's going to have to do something
HP.
big.
Mickey is. He has no flash. He's going to try to walk up and steal it, but... only uses his ultimate instead. Holy moly! Mickey does little. Steals the Baron in Game 3 of this final series. The redemption does not mean too much, but Darklean has delayed the rest of them. Kekel is going to be going down on the backside of that fight. A 4-man knockback from Keeper of the Verdict, and that means 4 members of Team Turret Dive have Baron right now. They've reset the fight, and the world is their oyster, Decerux.
What in the world? Mickey got redemption, did the worst Smite NA, comes back and gets the best steal Ascension League. What a man to actually go in and attempt that.
Yeah, he put
but now that puts pressure on the Elder.
He walked right up on Gragas and stole it, just like Svenskeren in that Immortals series back in spring. Well, that will be an Elder, most likely, but Poppy's in the area, may be able to stop this. Oh, there we go. No, Mickey's not up, so this won't really be stolen, but Dud is online, is going to be singled out by Color C. Back from Earth, chunked out pretty low. They're going to try and just steal it with regular abilities, but obviously Elise has it. On the backside, Color C actually went down. They're actually committing to a top lane. He's here. Eldritch Dragon does go the way of the Thunderbirds, but they've lost their tank top laner. The top lane is going to go down on the back end of this fight. Redemption not enough to keep him alive. Back from Earth is by himself. Finally, they may have what it takes to kill him. Arrow not going down, but here we go. Mickey does little, trying to make the hero play. Back from Earth is legendary. He takes down the Guardian Angel of 2 members, and he takes down the Braum. Now it's up to Mickey does little to see what he can do on the back end of this play. The Culling shredding his armor so low, and he is now just setting it up for Schlid. Schlid manages to get a kill. Can he get a second one? The exhaust is on. Dud is online. He got the second kill as well, and he uses the... oh, moly. If he got that third one, I would have eaten my own socks.
No, Schlid messed up. He's worth money again.
Aw, man. Well, Kekel's the only member alive. At the very least, he has Elder Drake, but it's not enough to push any advantages, and what a fiesta of a game.
Oh my god, yeah, fiesta. I'm gonna agree with you. This is a straight up clown fiesta. Luckily enough, Back from Earth was able to take out 2 GAs, which caused the retreat to come out from the Thunderbirds. And that was critical, especially what Schlid pulled off. Able to get some kills, able to get 2 kills, his first 2 kills of the game. That stopped that from being outright game. Schlid's actually a hero now.
I told you he was going to be the MVP at the end of the series. I told you.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's just because this whole thing is scripted, but 50 minutes in, 1,000 gold now separates these teams. Obviously, not all that impactful in the least. 13 and 5 is the Varus. Guardian Angel on cooldown, much like the Guardian Angel of Zed and Lucian. It's just a matter of time before the next team fight happens, and it will probably happen before the GAs are up. Back from Earth going for the red buff real quick. Ooh, he does some pretty good damage with crits. Just needs to land some of those on the enemy squishies.
No kidding. Brando's a little bit alone. Surprising they didn't go on to that, but it would have exposed the inhibitor. They're going for it.
They are going to be going on to Ariana Grande and Arrow. The ultimate from Sion was already used to knock up and stun them, but there's the Glacial Fissure coming out from Braum. It's just a matter of keep your eye on Back from Earth. He's already stunned up the tank, but here comes the hero's entrance to knock him up, and I think he's going to be going down here with the taunt. Back from Earth staying alive just long enough to keep the Elise down, and now he's fighting, he's kiting, he's doing his best. Lucian dashes forward, pulls a double lift, he's down, and so is the Braum. A triple kill for Back from Earth, the clear MVP of this series. Forget about Schlid, forget about the bottom lane of Thunderbirds, because we got a new king in town. They're marching down the Nexus, 50 seconds on the death timers, and only 2 members alive. I think we might have just seen the play that ended the series.
Back from Earth was unstoppable. He doesn't have GA anymore. They weren't able to get on him. The protection that came out of the Color Sea, that came out of Mickey Does Little, that came out of Toklian was crucial. Here comes a death mark. It's not gonna matter. Back from Earth is huge.
He certainly is, and so is his advantage. His team has been huge this entire game, whether it be the huge amount of deaths from Schlid or the huge amount of protection from Toklian. There's been a lot of clutch plays. Mickey Does Little been able to Baron steal in that last moment after giving one up to Ariana Grande, and it looks like the run is over for the Thunderbirds. Team Turret Dive are your Dragon League finalists!
And what a performance they put on. The clean sweep. Every game they went behind early and still managed to win it out by just having overall good team play and overall just relying on Back from Earth, who really has the entire Earth on his back.
I mean, didn't help that Schlid was adding rocks. He was like adding other planets to the back of Back from Earth, you know? Putting like the moon and Jupiter.
Just remember, you cannot feed if you're not worth gold. And Schlid, using that strategy, manages to pull off a pretty big one.
Hey, he actually did not die after that point, so.
Yeah. He was finally worth money again? Nope, too late. Not going to die anymore. And woo, Team Turret Dive definitely deserved this. They were the second place seed coming into this. 3v get knocked off by an underdog story coming out of the Thunderbirds, but ultimately Team Turret Dive with authority take the crown.
That they do, and that will mark the conclusion of the Mountain season of Dragon League here at Ascension eSports. If you're interested in joining us for the second season, I know a man who might be able to tell you how to do that. Why don't you inform the masses, Decerux?
Yeah, of course. If you're interested in joining Ascension eSports Dragon League, please, or Elder League or Phoenix League, check the links down below. Check out our subreddit, check out our Discord. We have divisions for all elos, so don't be shy. We even have an in-house ladder. Check them out. We look forward to seeing you soon. But before we go, we do have an interview with one of the winners from Team Tower Dive, and that's going to be the Color C.
Well, let's bring him on in here. We got some questions to ask this man.
Okay, we will get to that in just a second. Do have to bother Robert Dole.
Can we get some Robert Doles in the chat?
Rob Dole. legendary president of Ascension eSports. But yeah, what a matchup that was. Overall, just some great play coming out of Team Tower Dive. Back from Earth, man. Oh my goodness. This guy was a monster for this. And no matter what the Thunderbirds threw at them, it hurt.
Just it definitely hurt, for sure.
Yeah. We are waiting for Robert Dole to finally give us some information. Give us someone to give an interview to.
That was quite serious. I mean, besides the second game was a little bit more dominant, I think the series, all 3 games, the scoreline won't show it. You'll just see 3-0. But come on.
Yeah.
That was a competitive series every game, I think.
Yeah, it all came down to late game. Team Turret Dive know how to play that late game, and they know how to play it well. Give me a quick second.
Sure. All right, boys and girls. You're stuck with me now. Decerux has left you. He has forsaken you. You are mine, and I am yours. And now, together, we shall ascend to welcome someone from the victors of the Dragon League. Who that is anyone's guess. It's a mystery. Decerux has returned.
Yes, I am.
And he has brought with him the Color C. Oh. Welcome the top laner of the Dragon League champions. How you doing, Color C? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. I'm pumped. You know, I've been on a lot of these seasons doing across Ascension, across House Party, but you know, this is my first time actually making it all the way to finals, winning it. I'm pumped. I am.
Yeah, me and you have actually gone at it back in season 1.
Oh yeah. You know,
yeah, I know this guy. This guy's
then,
a veteran. You deserve it, man. You definitely deserve it. But I gotta ask, how was it going against another veteran, Brando Calrissian, the man with the balls of absolute stone?
Damn, I was not expecting to be quite as hard as it was. I gotta give him props. He actually like crushed me laning phase every game. You know, I kind of knew going in. You know, this entire season, I've gotten cheese ganked by enemy junglers level 2 every week, at least one game. So I was expecting just like a camp, a cheese gank, something to come up, and it finally came up and I wasn't ready for it. You know, I was game 3, the Elise gank. It was just like, hey, I just got a gank, I'm ahead, and then knocked right back down.
Yeah, it sounds pretty difficult to deal with. I mean, the thing is, JLC, Ariana Grande, historically, they have been pretty preferential towards the side lanes, I think. Even though they tried, you know, the Thunderbirds tried for like a protect the carry comp in the game 1. What was your game plan when it hit like game 3? I really want to focus on that moment because you guys drafted pretty well throughout the entire series, in my opinion. And then in game 3, it came down to like a 45, 50, 55 minute game, super late game. Goldie didn't matter. Didn't matter that your mid laner was actually digging like a mass grave for himself the entire game. Like, what was your mindset? What was your guys' comms like in that moment?
Comms like where we'd after something went wrong, we'd have about 5 seconds of tilt, and then literally everybody just like, okay, cool heads, we can farm up, we'll outscale, we'll do this, we can come back, we got this. They actually like. Mickey was like perpetually just like, they can't siege. They just actually can't siege, guys. We got this.
Yeah, and it showed. You guys had Back from Earth putting on a clinic, and you guys just protected him, keeping him active throughout that entire game.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to.
You know, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, when it's all said and done, how do you feel about this entire season? Like, how do you feel everything turned out with the whole 3v being in first place and then Thunderbirds going ahead and taking out 3v? Did you feel confident going into this?
We felt pretty confident. It was like we looked at it as like we were scared of VVV. We were, they were the only team that actually won against us in a series. Other teams we either tied or beat. So we were scared of them, and then seeing that they had to run 3 subs and got knocked out in semifinals. I don't want to say like they lost because of subs. Obviously, Thunderbirds are a great team. They did, they killed it throughout the season. They killed it in playoffs, but we felt like it was a little bit better for us than going up against VVV, but we were still hesitant because they did take out VVV, even though, they were running a few subs. But JLC also has been someone I've played against numerous times, and I know he's a great jungler. Brando, I know, is a reliable player. Let's see, our mid laner our jungler and support actually played with Dut online. Dut is online, and we're actually scared of his Xayah, and we're just like panicking today, trying to see if we could ban that. There was a lot of moments of fear, but then a lot of moments of keep a cool head. We can do this. We got this. We know what we're doing.
So even though the Thunderbirds wind up securing two consecutive playoff series to get to the finals, sort of like a miracle run, right? A Cinderella story. You guys were almost obviously preparing for the better of the two teams, in your opinion, before you found out that there was going to be a substitution of 3 players in 3v. So now that they're coming up here, take us back to before the games even began, when you guys were in the middle of prepping. What were you said you targeted the Xayah. You knew of the Xayah, even though that came out in game 2. You knew of that JLC was a competent jungler. Did you expect some of these picks that wound up coming out? The Ivern, there were a couple other ones. How practiced? Oh, here's a good one. How practiced was the Scion support? Because that was a pick that threw us off. You guys ran that from the game 1.
Yes, that's so. Traditionally, I've been a support player. Actually, I'm not actually much of a top laner. I just felt like getting a little bit of a different role in one of these seasons. So I was actually last 2 weeks, actually almost all of playoffs, I've actually been duo queuing and ranked AD carry support with our support, trying to get him something besides his Thresh. He's only really shown Thresh. And so that's kind of why you saw the Thresh ends every single game thrown at him. And it's like, okay, we need to get you on something you're comfortable with, you're reliable with. He wasn't happy with Lulu and Karma, but he could play them. So it's like, okay, let's get you something happy. You're gonna play better if you're having fun. And so it's like, okay, let's try some derpy supports with you. Let's try Scion. And it was sort of something I just threw out kind of half as a joke, and then we played it one time and he crushed it. And so I've been practicing it with him a little bit to get that ready.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you, my body wasn't ready for that Scion. It was that was a good choice because he did some spectacular work on it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, congratulations, Color C. You are one of the members to be our Season 3 of Dragon League Finals winner. League words hard.
Champion.
You're a champion. That's important. There we go.
Thank you.
All right.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next season, man.
Cause maybe we'll see. We'll have you, next season in the same situation. You'll be telling us that second ring feels real good on my hand. Now I'm walking around, big pimping. But thanks for joining us, and we really appreciate you taking the time after I know you probably want to go out and celebrate and get wasted and have all the girls.
Man, I just want some food. I haven't eaten since 8 hours ago.
Well, somebody feed this man. And in the meantime, we will be signing off as well here, I believe. Unless the Decerux, is there anything else?
No, this is the end.
This is the end. All right, this is the conclusion. Thanks for joining us for this very climactic, only 3-game series. This best of 5 is a clean sweep in favor of Team Turret Dive. And if this were the LCS, you'd be seeing a replay video instead of hearing me talk. But it isn't the LCS, so instead we're just going to play some music. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.